Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Trolia, and I'm honored to be presenting today for the Knowledge Matters Digital Presentations Challenge. Today, I want to share how the Virtual Business Challenge didn't just teach me business concepts, it helped me understand my own entrepreneurial journey in a completely new way. This experience didn't just simulate entrepreneurship, it re-sparked my love for owning a business. Before starting, let me tell you a little bit more about myself. I'm a junior at Carmel High School and a 2-year DECA member and have placed consistently at the regional level. I'm also very integrated into my community and serve as vice president of my city's youth advisory committee, where I help to host volunteer events all around my town. Finally, I absolutely love to bake, and anytime I have free time, you will always catch me in the kitchen. Now, let's go back 5 years to the day my first KitchenAid stand mixer arrived at my doorstep. The moment I opened that box, something shifted. What started as a simple curiosity quickly turned into a genuine love for baking, and that passion eventually became the foundation of my first business, Maya's Bakery. I started Maya's Bakery at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2021 as an outlet for me to pursue my passion for baking. I had four main menu items, including brownies, chocolate chip cookies, and cupcakes, and raised over $1,000 for a local charity called Cake for Kids, an organization that provides underprivileged youth with baked goods on their birthdays. Due to other commitments, I eventually closed up shop in 2023. At the time, I wasn't thinking about profit margins or price elasticity. I was simply making decisions that felt right. But when I entered the virtual business entrepreneurship simulation, I finally began to understand why some of those decisions worked and what I could have done differently. In the simulation, I had to make decisions in four major areas: pricing, marketing, managing finances, and customer service. Pricing wasn't just about choosing a number. It required analyzing demand sensitivity, understanding price elasticity, and evaluating competitive positioning to find the balance between profitability and volume. Marketing forced me to think strategically about customer acquisition, how much to spend, which channels to prioritize, and whether the return on investment justified the cost. Managing finances required constant attention to cash flow, budgeting, and sustainability. Growth looked exciting, but it only worked if expenses remained aligned with revenue. And finally, customer service directly influenced demand. Satisfaction levels affected reviews, retention, and ultimately long-term sales performance. What stood out to me most was how interconnected these areas were. A pricing change impacted demand. Demand affected cash flow. Cash flow limited marketing decisions. And customer service influenced whether marketing efforts even converted. No decision existed in isolation, and that's exactly what I experienced in real life. To start, one of my main strategies for the simulation was to pay special attention to pricing. In the simulation, pricing wasn't random. I had to consider demand sensitivity, how customers respond to price changes. I also had to analyze competitors and utilize price elasticity. When I first started both the simulation and Maya's Bakery, I kept my prices affordable because I wanted people to try my products. Without realizing it, I was prioritizing volume and accessibility over maximizing profit per item. I constantly adjusted my prices to fit demand and compete with rival companies. For example, I noticed that slightly lower prices increased the volume of customers, leading to a higher overall profit. As you can see in these images, I also conducted a competitor analysis and strategically priced my goods to be the lowest, yet still most profitable in the market. In the simulation, marketing didn't just start with advertising, it started with customer surveys. Before making promotional decisions, I had to access feedback that showed what customers valued, what they were dissatisfied with, and what influenced their purchasing behavior. That data helped guide where and how I invested in marketing. From there, I had to balance cost versus customer acquisition. Increasing advertising spending did drive more traffic, but it only translated into sustainable growth if customers were satisfied once they arrived. That's where the connection to my real business became clear. With Maya's Bakery, I didn't run paid ads. Instead, I paid attention to feedback, what flavors people preferred, what presentation they liked, and how reliable my service was. That informal customer survey mindset quickly helped me adjust quickly. My strongest marketing tool wasn't social media, it was word of mouth. When customers had a positive experience, they shared it, leading to organic growth. The simulation reinforced something I experienced firsthand. Marketing attracts customers, but experience keeps them. Financial management was where everything came together. In the simulation, I had to track revenue, expenses, and cash flow. Growth meant nothing if my costs exceeded available cash. I had to evaluate spending decisions based on return on investment, not impulse. This connected directly back to Maya's bakery. Instead of spending everything I earned, I reinvested into supplies and ingredients. That allowed me to continue operating and meeting demand. This reinforced something critical. Businesses don't fail because they lack ideas, they fail because they've run out of money. Financial discipline is what turns short term success into long term sustainability. Finally, one of the most powerful lessons from the simulation was how customer satisfaction directly influenced demand. Higher ratings increased retention, retention increased repeat purchases, and repeat purchases increased overall sales. In my real business, I focused heavily on presentation, consistency, and reliability. I wanted every customer to feel like they could trust my product. I didn't realize at the time that I was building brand equity. The simulation made it clear that strong reviews are not just compliments, they're economic drivers. A single negative experience could lower ratings, but consistent quality created long term growth. And that was a powerful realization. So, from this experience, I had three major takeaways. First is that small decisions create long term outcomes. In both the simulation and my real business, there was never one single decision that determined success. Instead, it was the accumulation of everyday choices, adjusting a price slightly, responding to customer feedback, reinvesting profits instead of spending them. Each decision may have seemed minor in the moment, but over time they compounded. The simulation made it clear that sustainable success is rarely the result of one big move. It's the result of disciplined, intentional choices made consistently. Second, growth requires reflection, not just action. It's easy to take action, but it's harder to pause and analyze why something worked or why it didn't. The virtual business challenge forced me to think critically about cause and effect. If demand dropped, I had to ask why. If profits increased, I had to identify which decision led to that outcome. That habit of reflection transformed my mindset. Growth didn't come from simply doing more, it came from learning, adjusting, and improving with purpose. And third, consistency and hard work are essential for sustainable success. In both Maya's Bakery and the simulation, results didn't just appear overnight. Strong customer ratings came from delivering quality repeatedly. Financial stability came from budgeting carefully over time. And real growth required patience, discipline, and resilience. What made this experience meaningful wasn't just learning business terms, it was realizing that small decisions I made in sixth grade, pricing affordability, prioritizing customer satisfaction, reinvesting profits, they were all foundational business strategies. The virtual business challenge didn't teach me entrepreneurship from scratch, it helped me understand it. In fact, it re-inspired my love for entrepreneurship, and in February of 2026, I officially relaunched Mine's Bakery, baking treats for family, friends, and members of my community. Thank you so much for listening, and I would like to especially thank the Knowledge Matters and eDynamic Learning team for giving me this opportunity and re-inspiring me to start my own entrepreneurial venture. Thank you so much.